Hey guys,
Hey.
How's it going? Guess what this week is?
Fan Week!
Yay!
Nailed it.
And as such, we're gonna do something different for the 5th video of every day. Probably gonna end up on this dirty couch because that's where we always end up. And today, what we're trying, we're gonna call it SourceFed Discussion.
I know, it's a creative title. Calm down, it's good. We spent a lot of time on it.
What we do is that we social out a question to you guys about a current event or a question that's floating out in the ether, and we get your guys' opinions on it on the Facebooks and the Twitters and the SourceFed.coms and the YouTubes, and then we mine those for comments, and then we have a little discussion about said topic with you.
So it can either be about a video, it can be about a news story, it can be about something we see on Reddit, and we want to throw it out there and discuss it, and we'll talk about it. So today we asked you guys, SourceFed fans, scientist claims he could clone a Neanderthal if a willing woman would carry the baby. So we asked you guys, should we do this? Why or why not?
Good, bad, scientific, immoral, awesome,
Freaky.
would I make out with it, her?
2 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up, depending on how it came out.
It might be a freak. Okay.
I have fingers.
Cool, so you guys gave us some feedback, and here it is.
From the actual YouTube video that we posted at like 9 o'clock this morning. If you haven't watched it, you can click this annotation right here and go see it and review it and see what you think. You can leave your thoughts there or on this actual video, but we asked you guys what you think about it. Some cartoon chick said, fun fact, it's pronounced Neanderthal. Not many people knew that.
It is an incredibly fun fact, like
Yes.
going down a
Fun
water
fact.
slide. We should have said Neanderthal.
We should have said
Fun fact.
Neanderthal.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Victoria4523 says, I'm terrified of having a human baby, so no,
Yeah,
not happening.
I'm
Yeah,
with you,
that makes
Vicky.
sense.
You're afraid it's just gonna
Like-
rip through the uterine wall and
Yeah,
then through
'cause
your
that's
stomach
what
lining
happens.
and be like, Mom, I'm here.
It's a child. I mean, I don't know much about Neanderthals, but if it's half ape too, oh man.
That's the point.
That's not how you make
It's
them.
a fuzzy
That's how you
science.
make it, right?
That's
Yeah,
fuzzy
it's like a
science.
mule. Rakir23 says, I wouldn't trust a human womb to grow a non-human baby, which brings up an interesting point I kind of alluded to in the video. If you have this creature that is primitive and also larger
Yeah.
growing inside of a non-primitive and not as large creature, will there be medical problems?
Yeah, but if it's like a big baby, that could wreck you.
Yeah. And by
Wreck you
wreck,
good.
she means kill.
One
I-
question that never came up.
What?
Who's the father?
Oh god, that kid's already gonna have abandonment issues. My dad left 100 million years ago.
Fuzzy dates.
I don't know much about science.
Science or numbers.
339 Halo Master said, I'm guessing Lee, Meg, and Trisha are off creating Neanderthal babies, considering they weren't in this vid. No. If the Octomom is already this famous, think of the insanity that Neanderthal mom is gonna.
Yeah, you could have any
They call
reality
her
show you
Neo
want.
Mom, or like, because they're gonna call the baby Eve, or it's gonna be like 45781.
Either or.
Pulse 0000 said, I think it's a bad idea. Did anyone see that bad caveman TV show a couple years ago? No one wants to see hipster Neanderthals walking around.
Next
To
thing
be
they know, they're
fair,
having
the
20-minute
commercial
specials
started
about
off
Oscar
great.
nominations.
Ben Smith, who is at YFragger, said, while the results would be interesting, I do not feel we would bring it back to die for marginal benefits.
First of all, I don't understand what all of the benefits are of having a Neanderthal walking
Yeah,
around.
I don't necessarily either.
I mean, I understand like learning about it.
It is a weird thing to think of in the sense, for me, I don't know, I've been part of weird tests for weird things in hospitals, let alone like what it would be if you were that person.
I
or that
once
person.
was part of a test for a new brand of Rice Krispies.
It's exhausting,
and it was
right?
unbelievable.
No.
Let's say we know that there will be periodic testing of said child as it grows up and becomes a Neanderthal adult. What if it was not a constant in the lab thing, but they had a life outside of the lab? What happens when this kid wakes up at like 9 years old and its parents sit him down for that talk?
You're really a Neanderthal.
It's like the adoption
Here's a
talk.
documentary of your real life, and it's just the NBC show.
This is
You know
good.
how you're really good at nothing?
To further talk about these points, Daniel James Baker on our Facebook wall said, while they have large brains capable of learning fast and were strong, so add that to today's society, I welcome our Neanderthal overlord.
Yeah, no,
I'm still not for it. I don't
No.
think it's a.
J. King Ingram said, no, we shouldn't recreate something that has lost its place and would struggle, not to mention the fact of it finding out that it is just an out-of-place science project. Jimmy J. Che says, it's not necessary. There's so many other problems that need solving. Cloning a Neanderthal is as important as Mari paternity tests.
Okay, well, hold on. You can't judge the progress of anything
No.
based on whether or not something else is important. If we only did things based on whether or not there were other things that were more important to do, we would never get anything done.
Yeah.
Truth. And finally, from the SourceFed.com page, Aristophanes with coffee, in reply to somebody else, said, you, my good sir, have read way too many crappy science fiction novels. In human society, not the crazy Big Brother society from 1984, we have something called ethics. The child will be treated properly, and the involvement of doctors, therapists, and the like will be kept to a minimum. Probably won't have to visit the doctors much more than any other child, and will probably be treated better than us. Fast forward, in his novel of a comment, raising a Neanderthal is completely ethical. Giving birth to one, however, seeing as he or the mother may come out deformed, handicapped, or may not live at all, is not the least bit ethical, especially seeing as their last experiment died after birth. So yeah, it's a terrible idea, just not for any of the reasons you stated. As for playing God, we started playing God the moment we started harnessing electricity. It's a little late to stop now. I don't like the it's playing God argument for anything, because we play God on a daily basis. Anytime something's killed, caged, manipulated for scientific purposes, it's all...
Anytime you're told not to pick a particular fruit from a particular tree,
it's
and then
all
somebody's like, hey, come
God.
on, pick this fruit, and you're like, and you're like, no, you gotta leave the garden.
Okay, so final thoughts. How do you feel about it?
Final thoughts. I honestly, I get the idea of doing it for a thirst for knowledge and science and all that, but I also think that unless we can promise that this child would have a proper life in the way of not feeling like a constant experiment, I don't think it's ethical.
No go.
Oh, I would definitely say no go. Yeah, a part of me wants to see a Neanderthal walking around. It'd be freaking sweet. On the other hand, I think that when you look at science, the benefits have to outweigh the risks, and this is one area where I don't feel like that's particularly happening.
Okay, I'm for it from a gaining knowledge standpoint, the science and the things that we could learn from bringing them back and learning from where we come from. My wife and I have had many discussions on is it playing God, is it proper for humans to bring back things that they have made go extinct, so like dodo birds and passenger pigeons. Because we have the technology and the ability, is it our responsibility, our duty to maybe bring them back? Even with the Neanderthal, I'm a little scared of what happens once we bring the Neanderthal back, if it's treated like a human or subhuman and actually has a life. That's where I get a little bit fuzzy, but am I for it? Yes.
I want to bring back saber-tooth tigers.
Okay, so let us know what you guys thought of SourceFed discussion. We're going to try a bunch of shows this week. Let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, thanks for submitting your thoughts. You make this so easy.
We love you. We love you guys.
Thank you.
I heart
Thank
you.
you. Why would you want a saber-tooth tiger when there's already tigers and they will already eat you?
They have
don't
big
even
teeth.
need the saber-tooth.
I need a great coat for winter.